How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to be talking about the Super Bowl. I know I already talked a bit about it, but that was just my expectations of it. Now it's been a few days since we watched it. I've been taking in a lot of media coming from the Super Bowl, what commercials I really liked, what plays I particularly liked. But let's just talk a bit about the Super Bowl. It was a beatdown. Okay, probably one of the worst in Patrick Mahomes' career, and it wasn't even close. The final score was 40-22, and it should have been way more. It should have been probably like 50 something to 12. The reason why I want to talk about this and why I'm revisiting this topic, but I just want to revisit it just because I had thought that the Chiefs were gonna win because of like ref bias, which I did see a bit at the beginning of the game, and then you just didn't really get it. And the very first pass interference call I thought was atrocious. And anyone that says that that was pass interference, there are a lot worse things that get called for not being that don't get called for being pass interference, and then there are way less things that get called for being pass interference. So it's kind of like a middle ground. I personally disagree with it being offensive pass interference. They're both trying to make plays on the ball. The game is just going to get physical. But aside from like the refs and that whole situation where people clearly say, "Oh, this team," both teams tend to be very good. They have very good rosters. I'm very proud of Xavier Worthy, fellow Longhorn, and he did amazing. He scored 2 touchdowns, the only two that the Chiefs were able to score, and he was really their standout player when nobody else could do it. Travis Kelce was constantly getting locked up. They kept on changing running back. Pacheco didn't do as many runs as I expected. He only got like 7 yards, which messed up my parlay. Thank you. But just like the Chiefs weren't being able to do anything, DeAndre Hopkins was barely being able to get too many balls. It was mainly just Xavier Worthy trying his best to lift up the team. Patrick Mahomes kept on being rushed. The D line of the Eagles did an incredible job to keep on putting pressure on the quarterback. And the O line was just invisible. It's like that one meme of like the storm, no, not the storm, the pitch invaders, where in soccer they just go, well, football, they go and they just get into the court, and it's just like people just standing there, letting them pass, not doing shit. That's kind of what I felt from this particular part. Like, the O line just didn't do anything for Patrick Mahomes, and the defense of the Chiefs were getting like they were trying to do man coverage, they were trying to do zone coverage, they were trying to do any kind of coverage to try to stop Saquon Barkley from running the ball, which they were very successful in. This is one of the games that we saw Saquon Barkley get the least amount of yards, and he is one of, if not like right now, he's the best running back in the league. That's 100%. But he will go down in history as probably having one of the best seasons of all time. He did an incredible job. I don't think the best. There are a lot of great other running backs that have done amazing things for their team, but he did something incredible this year, and we just have to take a second just to think about that. He did great, and in this game, he couldn't do too much. Why? Because the Chiefs were constantly trying to cover those gaps and constantly trying to do that. But whenever you cover the running game, you tend to lose a bit of depth on the outside. And so that's where Jalen Hurts was being able to pass the ball and go above the Chiefs. I think that the Eagles just were way better equipped for the game plan that could end up winning the game. And the Chiefs just didn't prepare as well as they should have. A lot of people like saying, "Oh, it's because Tom Brady was officiating the game." I know it's a joke. I mean, I guess Tom Brady was there when he took his 2 L's, which were by pretty big margins, both of them. This one was just massively like the game wasn't even a competition, and you could see that going into the second half, they were already down 27-0. There was no way that the Chiefs were making it back up. I was a bit worried because I'm like, if we're gonna have a GOAT debate and we're gonna have like a whole script about the NFL, this sounds like a pretty good time to rival Tom Brady's 28-3 comeback. I'm just saying, I really wish that they wouldn't, because to me, I saw a mini documentary about the other day, and that comeback was insane, and it was in my hometown. I remember the day vividly. I stopped watching the TV because I'm like, okay, the Falcons won. Who cares? And then I checked the score, and they're 28, or they're tied again. That shit was crazy. And I was honestly thinking that the Chiefs could try to pull up the same thing. And mainly because they have such good talent. But Travis Kelce looked washed. Patrick Mahomes looked washed. The only player that actually had any semblance of doing something was Xavier Worthy. Be that as it may, that's how it is. Okay? So that's me talking a bit about that part of the Super Bowl. Obviously, the game. Entertaining to watch the Chiefs getting their asses handed to them, but now we can go to hating a different team again. Yeah, no, the world united to hate the Chiefs. Realistically, like, it wasn't even about the Eagles winning; it was about the Chiefs losing. So let's get to the next part of the video, which is I want to talk a bit about the broadcasting and then what's happening to Philadelphia after the fact of the Super Bowl. So, the broadcasting, I've seen a whole divide on Twitter just because of how they did the scoreboard, which was god awful. And I don't know if anyone actually thinks that shit was good. Yes, it's cleaner. Yes, it doesn't look as like bulky or as like technological. Like, yeah, it looks different. Different isn't always good, and in this case, it is god awful. Like, I do not understand. Like, I saw a meme. I made the Super Bowl in Excel, and it was literally that. Like, it was so low effort, so low everything. Like, it doesn't look like something where the whole entire country is going to be looking at. It looks like they just wanted to try something, and that is the worst stage to try it on. You do not try a new system on the Super Bowl. That is like trying on a new pair of shoes for a marathon. Like, you don't do that. You have to break them in. You have to kind of like get people introduced to it. It actually reminded me of something that happened here at Texas. They try to change the third down like animation. It's this whole thing. Bevo comes in, breaks a thing, and then I saw it and I didn't know that they had changed it. They got so much hate for it, and people were complaining so much on Twitter that the Longhorns ended up changing it the next game because it's just like, yeah, no, nobody liked it. Let's just go back to the original, because sometimes original is better. In this case, that's definitely better. I do not know a single person who looked at it and wasn't like, why the fuck did they do this? Okay, that's what I want to talk about that. Some of the commercials stood out to me, especially the Lilo and Stitch one, but just because I'm a bit more biased towards liking Lilo and Stitch, I really thought that was an interesting commercial with him running around the pitch. I thought it was fun. Next thing that I wanted to cover was what is going on in Philadelphia. The reason I want to talk about what is going on in Philadelphia is because everyone is going insane. Okay, I get it. You won the Super Bowl. That is a big thing. Any country, when they win the World Cup, they do we saw the massive parades that they did in Buenos Aires not that long ago. Well, a little under 4 years ago, where they went all on the streets. They all celebrated, and that's cool. Whenever Spain did it, they did that too. Whenever a team wins the World Cup, it's a celebration. However, the amount of memes I saw and the amount, like, what it correlates to, people were right. It was like Notre Dame was like freaking predicting that the world was going to end in the year 2000. It was just a prediction waiting to happen. And that's exactly what happened. The Mayans said 2012 was going to happen, and they would have been right. Like, the predictions were there. the amount of looting, the amount of destruction that is going on in the city, the amount of danger that it is putting people in is really scary to see. I get it. It's the Super Bowl. It's super dope. Um, like I get the celebration, but it's gotten completely out of hand, and that could be a much bigger safety cause. Even the mayor had to step up and say, "Hey, don't climb lampposts." But no one ever said anything about taking them off the ground. And that is exactly what is going on in Philly right now. But congratulations to Philadelphia for winning the Super Bowl. Clearly the best team in the league right now. I like it's not even close. The second best team, which should have been the Chiefs, they had no chance. So thank you everyone for watching the video. I hope you guys have had a great Super Bowl weekend and had a great rest of your week. And also, if you're in Philadelphia, please be safe. Do not. You can take part in like all this fun activities, but it's not worth getting hurt over. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.